Dear Naruto Lemon fans, I'm thrilled to invite all of you to my Boosty channel, where you can enjoy exclusive Naruto Lemon scenes in a comfortable and supportive community. Choose from various subscription tiers, from Mini Lemon to God Lemon, and gain access to unique content tailored just for our fans. Plus, subscribers to over Naruto Lemon and God Lemon will receive special mentions in my videos. Support my channel and dive deeper into the world of Naruto today. Dare. The Fourth Shinobi World War is over. The villages are slowly recovering from this bloody conflict. The main characters of this event, Naruto and Sasuke, were constantly bombarded by crazed fangirls. Sasuke, however, once again departs to wander the shinobi world, leaving Naruto alone in the village among these rabid fangirls. But Sasuke doesn't leave Naruto as an enemy, but as a friend, one who sacrificed his arm for him, one who is almost completely consumed by hatred. About 2 months have passed since the end of this war. The number of crazed fangirls has significantly decreased, allowing the protagonist to wander around his home village, Konoha. He loved to sit on the head of his father, Minato Namikaze, carved out of a cliff. Naruto loved to eat his favorite ramen. At Ichiraku, he was given a lifetime voucher allowing him to eat ramen whenever and however much he wanted. Another 2 months passed. Naruto had already had his right arm made from Hashirama's cells. He could already move it comfortably and lift various weights. He thanked Granny Tsunade for his new arm. Commentary on the epilogue. The next part will be longer. Naruto woke up to a knock on the door. Reluctantly, Naruto went to open it. Kakashi-sensei was standing in the doorway, looking at Naruto. Naruto, Kakashi-sensei, what are you doing here so early? Kakashi, the 5th Hokage is calling for you. Naruto, why? Kakashi, honestly, I don't know myself. 10 minutes later, Naruto and Kakashi-sensei were trudging into the residence. Naruto was already standing in front of the door. Kakashi had just stopped to wait somewhere as they entered the residence. Naruto hesitantly began knocking on the door. From behind the door, Grandma Tsunade's relaxed voice could be heard, "Come in." Naruto walked in and saw Tsunade drinking a bottle of sake alone. Well, as usual, Naruto thought. Naruto, why did Grandma call you? Tsunade, you have a mission. Naruto, curious, what is it? Tsunade, Kazekage Gaara will tell you. Naruto, just don't say that Databayo. Tsunade, yeah, you'll have to go to Suna. Tsunade, nothing's up for discussion, go get ready. Naruto left silently. He left sadly, but secretly he was glad to see his old friend, Gaara. Tsunade had heard about this mission from Gaara and said out loud, I hope you come to Konoha with Naruto's fiancée. Naruto had already left Konoha and was heading towards Suna. The journey was long. Gaara's POV. He sat exhausted in his seat, sorting through paperwork. No, he wasn't exhausted by work, but by his older sister, Temari. At home, she peppered him with questions about Suna's arrangements and what she didn't like, how it was too hot outside, and how he wasn't fulfilling his duties as Kazekage properly. His only escape from her was at work, but even then, she realized he rarely went home and came to his office to literally nag him. She destroyed entire training grounds with her wind techniques, and Gaara had to rebuild them all again. Then Kankuro, his older brother, came to see him. Gaara was happy to see his brother and asked where he'd been all week. Kankuro replied that he'd been in the hospital. It turned out Temari had beaten him up for saying she needed a man. Something snapped in Gaara's mind, yeah, she's been so angry after Naruto's last visit, she probably has a crush on her little sister, Gaara thought, and sent Kankuro home. He then sent a letter to the Hokage. He wrote that Naruto was needed in Suna and briefly explained the problem, adding that this would strengthen the alliance between Konoha and Suna. By morning, Naruto was already in Suna, where Kazekage Gaara himself was waiting for him with several subordinates. Gaara, well, how did you get here? Naruto, without incident. Gaara, that's good. Naruto, so why did you call Gaara? Gaara, we'll discuss everything at the residence. They set off for the residence, but their path was blocked by a familiar Suna kunoichi, Temari. She began scolding Gaara again for not being around since the morning. Naruto chuckled. And Temari, not noticing him, said without turning around, "What are we laughing about?" and turned away. She was awkwardly speechless and then blushed deeply. Naruto stood before her, shirtless, because it was hot, and said, "Are you okay, Temari-san?" But instead of answering, she quickly left the meeting place. Naruto, what's wrong with her, Dadabayo? Gaara, I don't know. Naruto, okay, let's hurry up, it's hot outside. At the residence, Gaara told Naruto that the mission was dangerous, that they needed to eliminate a couple of missing nin, to which Naruto just waved his hand. Why shouldn't he kill a couple of missing nin? He himself gave a pretty good fight to Madara, and then a couple of missing nin. Gaara, after a long pause, said, "By the way, Temari is going with you." The smile fell from his lips instantly. Naruto, why put your sister in danger? Gaara, she's not a weak kunoichi, after all. Naruto, alright. It's pointless arguing with you anyway, Dadabayo. Gaara, good, you'll head out tomorrow morning. Naruto was taken to his room and he immediately went to bed, because he had been on the road all night. Temari's POV. After meeting Naruto, she was practically trembling. She came to Gaara and asked kindly, "Why is Naruto here?" Gaara replied that he had an important mission tomorrow, which, by the way, just happened to be with you, Temari. She immediately smiled. Gaara, that little sister fell in love. Temari quickly flew up to him and grabbed him by the throat. How do you know? Gaara, I can tell by your cough, let go or I'll choke. Temari, swear you won't tell anyone. Gaara, I swear. Temari let go of his throat and said, "That's great, and what's the mission?" Gaara cleared his throat and said, "Kill a couple of missing nin." To which Temari replied, "Easy," and walked towards the exit. Gaara, of course, could not allow real missing nin to attack them and would send his own. In the morning, Naruto woke up at 9 a.m., which he found strange. He began to hurriedly pack his things. Naruto said out loud, "If I'm late, Temari-san will twist my head off with her Dadabayo fan." Temari was already standing near the gate, slowly growing angry. But Naruto had already rounded the corner and was standing at the gate 5 seconds later. He looked at Temari, and his eyes widened. Temari was dressed in a long black kimono that accentuated every curve. A red sash hung around her waist, holding a fan behind her back. Her eyes were as azure as the sky, something Naruto couldn't help but notice. "Temari, you're going to look inside me now." Naruto blushed and replied, "Sorry, well, let's get going." Temari, yeah. They walked north, chatting about all sorts of things. Gradually, the landscape began to change to a wintry one. By evening, they were caught in a snowfall, and they set up camp in the middle of the forest. Naruto and Temari pitched a small tent and laid out 2 sleeping bags. Temari fell asleep almost immediately, but Naruto tossed and turned, unable to sleep. Kurama, what a girl has sunk into my soul. Naruto, go away, Kurama idiot. Naruto disconnected his connection with Kurama and sank into his thoughts. He wondered why Temi had captured his heart. That's how he thought of Temari. He'd been in love with her since the Chunin exams, but dismissed it as a fling and locked his feelings away. Temari had also had a fling with Shikamaru, but it hadn't lasted long, and Naruto didn't know the reason. And now, his feelings for Temari had overwhelmed Naruto. He fell asleep, lost in thoughts of his beloved. For some reason, he woke up in someone's hair. It smelled like wildflowers, and at first he didn't understand what was happening and buried himself even deeper in it. But then he jerked awake and wondered, did I fall asleep alone? His hand was on someone's waist, and he immediately understood everything and thought to himself, what are you doing here? And he lay there until dawn, when Temari woke up. As soon as she woke, she gave Naruto a hard slap. Naruto, for what? Temari, for being handsy. Naruto, I was sleeping in my sleeping bag. Temari, oh, sorry, I think I was sleepwalking again, she said, blushing. Naruto, what else can I say to such a beauty? They both blushed. After breakfast with Temari, Naruto went on a reconnaissance mission. He spent 2 hours scouting the area until Kurama contacted him. Kurama, I have a bad feeling about this. Naruto, oh, Kurama, you always seem to have something wrong. Kurama, looks like something happened to Temari. A lump formed in Naruto's throat. He ran faster to where they'd stopped. 10 minutes later, he stood on a tree branch, watching a horrifying scene. Temari was fighting 10 missing nin. She'd already killed 2, but her strength was already growing. All 8 missing nin rushed toward the exhausted girl, and in an instant, Naruto found himself in front of Temari, protecting her. The missing nin stopped. Naruto, Gaara must have gotten something mixed up. Temari, you came. Naruto, it's okay Temari, I'm here. Naruto created a clone that carried Temi away from the battlefield. Naruto asked the missing nin, should I deal with you with hand-to-hand combat or Raisin Shuriken? They didn't answer. He said, then I'll decide for you. Raisin Shuriken, then. Naruto created 8 clones and began forming Raisin Shuriken. The missing nin all ran in different directions, but each Raisin Shuriken still reached its target, simultaneously destroying its targets. Gaara's POV. They should have reached my missing nin by now. This is all so strange. And no word from the missing nin. Naruto's POV. I quickly ran up to Temari and started asking how she was feeling, but my words seemed to go right through her. Suddenly, she ran up to me and hugged me tightly. Temari, I thought you wouldn't come and I'd have to die, she said whining. Naruto, I'll always be there for you, my little fool. Temari's breath was hot on the skin of my face. She reached for my lips and we merged in a tender kiss. That evening, we were getting ready for bed. Temi had already slipped into my sleeping bag and was waiting for me. I lay down next to her, and she rested her head on my chest and fell asleep. I stroked her sandy hair and couldn't believe that this was only my happiness.